It's February 16th, 2015. And so I'm going to talk now about what happened on that night that I had dinner at the Mexican restaurant with Mike Tancer. And he recommended the tuna tartare, and then from there, and then that one Mexican waiter was asking if you wanted salt or not, and kind of acted kind of weird about it. I mean, of course, yeah, I know that you can rim a margarita glass with salt. Shouldn't be that strange of a question to make to somebody, but it was a little bit strange because the way he put it, and the kind of tone and how he was staring at Mike, and then the way Mike reacted, it was almost like they were almost talking about something that really did not just have to do with the customary question of whether you want salt on with your margarita glass or not. So I remember that because of how they acted about it. And so then I had said in the other videos that from there from that restaurant, we went to a club. And one of the things that I left out is that we went to an art thing. And so when Mike had called me up, he said he wanted to take me to dinner and wanted to take me to this art preview, like art gallery kind of a thing. It was like kind of an underground thing that someone had put together for Lewis and Clark College and some of their art students there. And at the time, this guy Heinz was going to school there, I guess. I don't know if he was an art student or he just happened, like he majored in art, or if he just happened to have a class and decided to put something on display there or what. But it was in sort of an industrial area of Portland, and you walked in and someone had designed it to have ketchup that looked kind of like blood spattering everywhere, like coming out of a wishing well type of a thing, and then running in a circle around, like on the ground, flowing then down around the floor in a certain area, like it was like a river of blood or something. And then there were these art projects on the walls, and then there was a little bit of sculpture and a few other things, kind of mixed media kind of a show. And so when we went there, that's when I was told. I wasn't told that I was going to meet this Heinz person until we were at that place. And then he just happened to say casually, he said, I'm going to meet this friend of mine, Heinz. And I said, okay. And then he kind of explained, he said, this guy's he said, he's the daughter of Teresa Heinz. And I said, oh, who's that? Something like that. And then he said, the ketchup heir. So anyway, it's kind of funny to be thought of as the ketchup heir. I mean, think of all the different kinds of heirs there are out there. I'm the vinegar heir, and this over here is the oil heir. Here's our sugar heir, and this is the ketchup heir. And we all are really jealous of the posted heir. So anyway, I didn't realize at the time that he was telling me this was the ketchup heir that I already knew his family from when I was a kid. And so when we got to this place, and then he said to me something about the ketchup heir, and then said, once we were walking in, he said, let's go to the back. He says sometimes they have some stuff in the back. And the way he said it and kind of indicated was drugs. Like they would have things to snort. It was what I was getting the idea of. And and he made it very clear where there was no mistake at all that Mike was indicating, you know, drugs to get high off of. So, so I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything like, oh, I don't do that, or act really conspicuous, like, what kind, tell me, you know. I just kind of went along with it and didn't say anything and thought, well, this will be interesting. And so we got to the main area of this art show, and there was Heinz standing there in a kind of a woven linen white suit, head to toe in white, and he had kind of like a reddish beard, and maybe brown hair, but like a bright red beard. And I didn't recognize him right away. You know, I didn't remember him. I recognized his voice more than when he spoke, more than I recognized how he looked, because I had not seen him for a really long time. And he looked kind of stiff and like he didn't like the fact I was there, and like he didn't like me. And Mike was actually kind of relaxed and casual, and Heinz wasn't. He was very, he kind of tried to play it off like he was feeling casual and made some kind of a little joke. But he was very stiff. And when Mike said something like, you have anything in the, you know, can we go over there in the back? Heinz was like, mad. He was like mad at Mike that Mike even kind of suggested we might go back into this one area. And I didn't realize at the time, you know, that his stepdad was considering, you know, I didn't think about all of the political implications of everything, and maybe how they thought or remembered that I was a big mouth. But anyway, he said that my dog's not supposed to be on my bed if I'm here. So just a minute. Nanette, get down. Off the bed. Good dog. So I think she just really wanted to see what was going on out there, because she gets to go on my bed if I'm not there, and look out the window and keep an eye on things. But if I'm in the house, she doesn't get to be on the bed. She's not supposed to be on the bed. And anyway, so so I never saw anything, because we didn't go to the back area where supposedly there was customarily like a drug supply to choose from. And you know, from my past interactions when I was a kid, I wouldn't have thought that it was like things to shoot up with. I would have just thought it was cocaine. I mean, I would assume, you know, unless it was maybe some ecstasy or something like that, which I hadn't really been around or heard people trying, but I mean, that was common at the time to try. But usually if somebody talked about party drugs around me, when I knew the people from their families, it was almost always cocaine. You know, that was the main drug. I don't think I got injected with stuff sometimes and was never told what it was, but people went for the cocaine, you know, in those circles. So that's what I thought I was going to see back there. I mean, who knows what variety of things they typically had, but that's what I thought. And anyway, so then he didn't want us to go into that back area where there were some other people going. And then after this art thing, and his art thing, the Heinz's art thing, was a big V. It was like a it was huge. It was about the size of, well, as much as you can see this area that's around me in this frame here. I would say it was about that large, and then up higher on a wall, and it had, like, you know, construction cones, like orange construction cones. Well, it had a bunch of orange construction or construction cone types of things all stuck together like in an ensemble kind of a thing, or assembly type of a deal, except for they were white. And so there were these white cones all over, and in the shape of a V. So it's this enormous V that was made out of these white cones. And when Mike started kind of laughing and saying, well, what's that? Heinz said, it's vagina, is what he said. So he said something like, it's a big vagina. And anyway, so, you know, we were looking at that, and they were laughing and joking around about it, taking it pretty light, you know, they were lighthearted about it. And then afterwards, we were going to all meet at some kind of a club, or actually at an after party, supposedly at someone's house. And so then we were in the car, and Mike said, I'm going to call Heinz because usually there's we could go to an after party, and supposedly, and he said, I don't think you wanted to do anything at the art place. So my impression was that, well, we hadn't gone back to that one room at this art place that we were at. So we were going to go to someone's house or apartment, and where there were going to be party drugs, club types of drugs, which to me, again, I just kind of assumed was going to be cocaine. And so, and again, I didn't say anything. I was just kind of wondering, I was kind of going along for the ride, just waiting to see what happened next, because and had no intention of like spying. I wasn't spying on them or trying to snoop or anything. I mean, I didn't know what I was getting into or what I was being taken to at all. I had no motive whatsoever, and I wasn't thinking, oh, I'm going to go and see who does stuff and then report them. You know, I didn't have any kind of an agenda at all. I just thought, I want to see what, you know, I'm curious. I want to see what's going on. And so from that phone conversation, he said, I heard Heinz on the other line, on the other phone, or well, Mike was in the car on his cell phone, and I heard Heinz, and he said something about, why don't you go to, oh, and what had happened is that we were supposedly going to meet him at that bar, the dive bar, where Heinz told the door person that it was a private party, to tell us that it was a private party. So then Mike and I went to this, we were in the car, and Mike got on the cell phone and thought we were going to then meet up with Heinz at an apartment after Heinz got out of this bar. And then Heinz basically said no, or said something like maybe later, and suggested that we go to this other bar where we went. And it was at that other bar when I was given this date rape drug in the drink that I got. So yeah, so I got something. I got some kind of a drug of some kind, and nobody asked me if I wanted it. It was just given to me in this drug, and then the rest of the story of what happened then